message as soon as it's ready for you.
Sweet. Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and we invite you to ease back your chairs, let go of all your cares, as we bring to you our NXT review. I gotta say, guys, I enjoyed this episode of NXT tonight. I definitely thought it was a step up from last week. Really War Games heavy, and that's not a bad thing. You know, War Games Takeover. They said it's 2 weeks from Sunday, so it's gonna be right around the corner. What is it, like December
6th
here? December 6th. Yeah, December 6th. So not that long now. We got development on both the women's and the men's war game, including who's going to get the advantage in the men's war games match in a very interesting main event. So, Ashton, what do you think about NXT tonight?
I think as a standalone show, it was more good than great. But as a War Games sort of go home show, as a way to kind of hype up War Games and build up that card and get me excited for it, that's where this show really shined. That's where I would say it was great.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. So with that said, let's get right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. I do have one nitpick. I don't want to get too angry because I understand that it served a greater purpose. I didn't care for the finish of Kushida Thatcher tonight with Thatcher.
Yeah, that was going to be one of mine too, so I'm glad you brought it up because I really did.
Like, I would have been totally cool if Kushida just caught Thatcher in like a cradle or something. But him tapping out, I think, kind of takes away his mystique as a real savant, as really proficient in the catch wrestling game, in the submission game. And again, like, I understand the greater story is being told here because Ciampa distracted Thatcher at ringside not once but twice. And the second time, of course, led to the downfall, with the hoverboard lock and everything else. And then Ciampa looking at the camera and be like, wonder if Thatcher has a problem with me now. But, again, you could have easily done a cradle because a loss is a loss. But I think a submission loss against a guy that prides himself on being a catch wrestling expert, a submission expert in a lot of ways, because he does guillotines and arm bars and ankle locks. It's to me, it's not a good look. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, I think really, I don't know. So I can see this from two different angles. Okay, so my first angle is I don't even have a problem with Thatcher tapping out because to me, in a way, him tapping out and really respecting somebody else's submission puts over submission wrestling in general, which in turn makes his own offense look that much more credible, right?
That is fair. Absolutely.
But then also, what's on my mind really is I don't care how the finish went. There's literally no fucking reason for him to lose to Kushida here.
As you mentioned earlier in our 5v5, which I strongly urge everybody to check out on the channel because of the size difference and how big Thatcher is, right?
Well, the size difference, but also, like, Kushida's ceiling is, like, maybe if we're in, like, a 1 in 100 universe North American champion, but realistically, most of the time, more often than not, Kushida's absolute ceiling in WWE is North American champion. Or is, I said the wrong thing. Cruiserweight champion. Thatcher's a world champion waiting to happen, and you just had him lose to this dude. Like, really? Like, for real? Like, you're gonna put Kushida over here to build him for what? To build him to lose a world title match? To build him to lose a North American title match so that he can look more credible? When he beat Santos Escobar for the cruiserweight title, he did not need this in any way. And Thatcher's credibility needs to be strong because he could be a future world champion. So I just hate this at its very premise.
Absolutely. I don't want to add on anything you just said because I think you articulated it perfectly. I'm going to hand the floor over to you, though, since that really was like my biggest nitpick. I think Foster alluded to something else that I kind of have a problem with, but I'd rather just get into that in the segment, in the segment proper on the show. So do you have any like heats tonight or anything that's just really digging at you that you want to air out here?
So I think I have a nitpick, but it's only a nitpick because it's like maybe almost like a, how do I put this? It's like a pending nitpick. It's like Schrodinger's nitpick, because I could have just missed something. And if I missed something, the nitpick goes away. But at any point on this show or last week's show, was it made explicit that Shotzi's War Games team was going to be Ember, Rhea, and Io? Because they acted tonight like that was just a foregone conclusion.
I didn't think they made it explicit to me in any way, so yeah. I can't really say.
So unless they did, and I just missed it somehow, that is my nitpick. Like, you're acting like it's a foregone conclusion that these are the three women that are going to be on the team, when your audience doesn't even know that.
Yeah, I agree with you. They should have telegraphed that a lot better, I think.
Yeah, like they could. You know what would have been so simple that they could have done? They could have literally just, as bumpers going into or coming back from commercials, just showed Shotzi talking to each of these women, making it seem like she's recruiting them. That's all it would have taken, is 5 seconds, 3 seconds of us seeing Shotzi conversing with no volume even. You could just show them with, no volume, just the image of Shotzi talking to each of these women individually, spread out over the course of the show. Last week even, it could have been. And this entire nitpick goes away. But we had no indication whatsoever to imply that Ember, Rhea, and Io were Shotzi's 3 picks to be on her team.
This just leads me to ask, and again, I don't want to get into too big a digression here, but does NXT have a laziness problem? Because, like, between how little they advertise for their TV, which we've talked about before, like with AEW, so we're not going to retread that again, like, relative to AEW, where they have everything laid out, and then this, it's just something that I can't help but think about, because these things really aren't that hard, which is why I call it laziness, because it's not really that big of an expenditure to do these things, and they just opt not to do them. And so, just some food for thought, I guess.
That might be what it is. I don't know if that's what I would call it, but you might be right there. It might just be like oversights that they just don't care about.
Yeah. So with that said, guys, let us get into our NXT review. And we open up with a match. We have Candice in the ring with Indy Hartwell versus Ember Moon. And, I really enjoyed this match. Ember's power offense is so fucking fun. 2 spots that stand out to me. Obviously, the wheelbarrow into the announce table was sick. God, I love that. I love how she walked up to Indy and forearmed her in the fucking face like a boss, like in that same sequence. She did a great capture suplex to Candice. The Eclipse is still fucking impeccable because Indy took a bullet for Candice, at that point in the match. Ember's just looking so good in there, man. I am fucking loving it. But because Indy took the bullet of, the Eclipse and Dakota and Raquel were out at that point because they did come out like middle of the match, Candice was able to capitalize. She gets her version of the curb stomp, which commentary has called the Wicked Stepsister.
Yep.
Yeah, and gets the win. They begin to encircle Moon, but Moon, able to escape, fight him off. Then Toni Storm's music hits. She comes out, Ember smiling. She kind of gestures to Toni, hey, let's go in there. Let's take the ring back. She goes in before Toni. Toni pulls Ember out, pretty much turns heel on her, throws her into the steel steps, beats the hell out of her, then throws her back into the ring to Candice, Dakota, and Raquel. And the beatdown ends with Raquel hitting her powerbomb on Ember. So I guess the 2 big questions I have for you, partner, what did you think of the match, and what do you think about Toni Storm now as a heel?
Yeah, so, I mean, the match itself, I fucking love strong style Ember Moon. Really, really great to see her kind of get to unleash some of her capabilities in this match. She's such a great athlete, and she works so snug. I just love it. She is, low-key, other than maybe Io herself right now, I think Ember might be my favorite female in-ring worker in the WWE.
Yeah, I would agree with that. With that. Yeah.
She's really exceptional to watch in the ring. Obviously, I'm not super happy that Candice beat Ember here. I feel like Ember's losing way too much this early into her return to NXT. but she hasn't lost clean.
Yes, that is true. So they have kind of prepared for that. She kind of has the Keith Lee problem going on for her.
That's, dude, same exact wavelength here. I had the exact same thing in my mind. I was about to say it's almost like Keith Lee, who can't seem to lose clean, but he also can't seem to just straight up fucking win a match unless against someone who he's obviously going to beat, like, you know, lower card kind of person. That kind of is where Ember is right now, which is just really awkward and frankly a bit unfortunate in my opinion. But dude, did I or did I not call Toni Storm turning on Ember last fucking week?
Yeah, you did, and we got it here.
Dude, so, she was just putting out those vibes, man. She was putting out those vibes. I was getting those hostile vibes with Toni last week, and like even just this week when she came down to the ramp to try and like hype Ember Moon up, and I got the feeling again. I was like, she's gonna turn on Ember. You can even ask my mom. I said it out loud. Tony's turning on Ember here, and she was like, "You think so? No." And I was like, "You'll watch, you'll see." And lo and behold, there it is. So yeah. This is like a feels good to be vindicated situation because it really is like it was. Props to Toni Storm for kind of almost making it obvious without making it so obvious that it was like insulting Ember's intelligence for her to not see it. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And we go from vindicated to you to a vignette in LDF. We've got them kind of, you know, celebrating themselves. Dude, this faction's classy as fuck. I even literally have in my notes, classy as fuck. Because they're just all sharing a drink, talking about how they're the hottest thing in pro wrestling. Escobar says, you know, like anything that they say they're going to do, they do it. And they do hype up the new number one contender, who I feel horrible, but I already forget his name. But I know he was the winner of that Fatal 5-Way that we reacted to, that Foster so generously paid for us to do. I forgot his name too. I feel so bad. Low key, he probably could have been on my NXT Fatal 5 because I really enjoyed the work that he was putting in. Yeah. So, you know, I love too that this whole vignette thing kind of hypes up their next challenger. And the camera has one final shot at the Cruiserweight title. I love how important they've made that title feel, dude. I already had a great discussion about that on 5v5. Again, I urge everybody that missed it to check it out.
Kurt Stallion.
Yeah, Kurt Stallion. Okay, there it is, Kurt Stallion. So they do hype that up.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, and speaking of Foster, I hope you check out our 5v5 because I actually do mention you when it comes to our NXT Fav 5, and you'll get the context if you do have time to go back and watch it. Would love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, so that vignette was great. Moving right along, we get an Undisputed Era promo because, you know, they're coming down the ring, and this is to hype up the, you know, the ladder match advantage for
dude,
War
Adam
Games.
Cole's swagger here. My God.
Right, dude. Dude.
He had that like fucking senior in high school swagger where you just don't give a fuck anymore and you know you own the place anyway.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, I love the Cole. He gives them their props for giving them a taste of their own medicine, you know, being Undisputed Era, giving their medicine by 4 of the band. But then he quickly dovetails into, you know, is this a joke? Like, you saying you're going to kill the Undisputed Era. You know how many times we've heard that? How many times we've heard somebody come up and be like, this is it. I'm going to end the Undisputed Era. And it never happens. Mm-hmm. And, like, they're owning it, dude. And Kyle's facial expressions in this were great. And, you know, they said, you know, we fought for championships. We fought for bragging rights. Not this time. Because this time, we're fighting to drag you through hell. And we're going to show the world who the hell we are. And Kyle is itching for Pete Dunne. He's like, I need Pete Dunne. I need to get my hands on him. Cole says, you know what? I got no problem with that, Kyle. All cool and calm. I got no problem with that, Kyle. You got a problem with that, boys? No, and I think even Robert Pisces is like, no, we don't sweat that limey prick. I
didn't catch him saying that. That's funny.
Yeah, and so, yeah, Kyle O'Reilly is anointed to take on Dunne here tonight. And, yeah, like, it was just a promo. I think you said it best. It's just that kind of senioritis. Like, we own the place. We know it. We're going to coast through, and ain't nobody going to do a damn thing about it. You have anything you want to add to this? Yeah, is it just me, or was Roderick really fucking annoying during this? He only had, I think, like, one line where he's like, I love being up on Oney Lorcan or whatever. And I don't really remember anything else Roderick did. I feel like he was unnecessarily trying to provide, like, fucking, you know, extra commentary from behind, like he was trying to be a hype man, and it just got on my nerves a lot. Yeah. And see, it's funny to me because that's what you took note of, Roderick. I just felt like he was kind of there for me, honestly. But yeah, either way, I guess Roderick's the odd man out. But yeah, great promo. And I guess moving on from that, we get Candice LeRae kind of interview because, Mackenzie's trying to ask about Tony. Candice's like, can you give me a second? And
I never remember who's who between Mackenzie Mitchell and Sarah Schreiber.
I feel like Sarah might be on the main roster now. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Awkward.
I don't know. But anyway, she's having counsel with Dakota and Raquel, and they both agree, like, sure. And Candice is like, well, my War Games team, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Tony Storm. And then Tony shows up in an interview, and she's like, didn't I tell you it was going to be a different Tony Storm? And they all just kind of walk off together. So, simple little promo, kind of establishing Candice's War Games team, and just Tony being like, yeah, fuck you guys. You have anything you want to say about this?
No. This was, it was about to be, it was about what I expected. Let me just put it that way. We can move on.
Yeah, not really going to talk much about this. Timothy Thatcher versus Kushida. We already kind of addressed this at length in the opening segment. I did enjoy the counter wrestling. I thought it was great back and forth. I will just spotlight one thing in the match that was really positive. I fucking loved how Thatcher countered Kushida's Muda Lock in this, where he kind of got a cravat. I'd never seen anything like that, dude. Thatcher.
You know what? I must have missed that. I'm gonna have to go back and check it out.
Dude, it was a great visual. Thatcher's so fucking good. I mean, you done knew that. But, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But we're going to move right along. We already talked about how Thatcher tapped out. Ciampa, Thatcher, it's probably going to be War Games. Could be one hell of an opener if that's the slot that it gets.
Yeah, dude, War Games is really shaping up. Holy shit. The thing is, I'm guessing Balor is going to defend the title, too, at War Games, right?
Because he did have a promo later in the show where he's like, the cat is back, and he laid the groundwork for War, so anybody that wants to make War for him, step up.
Yeah, so we're going to get that match. We're going to get 2 War Games matches, one men's and one women's. Plus, we're going to get a Triple Threat North American Championship match. Plus, we're going to get Grimes Loomis strap match. And we might also get Ciampa Thatcher. Holy shit, that's stacked.
Yeah, it is.
3.5 hour show. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's freaking wild. So we go from Thatcher Kushida to Io versus Rhea, post-match thoughts. It was a nice little video package. Io acknowledging how tough Rhea is. Rhea ending it with just saying, I failed to capture the championship, so what do I do now? Honestly, I don't know. And it was kind of like that existential hanging question of, I failed in my goal. What's even left for me here? So they kind of let it linger. Nothing really to say there. We get Pete Dunne, Lorcan, and Burch promo. Again, they're just kind of hyping themselves up. They acknowledge that Undisputed Era is undefeated in the War Games Advantage ladder match. But tonight, Pete Dunne said he's going to break Undisputed Era's spirit. And, Lorcan...
I love the line that Dunne said about O'Reilly, too, saying, oh, yeah, O'Reilly, what you did to Finn was really impressive, the way you busted his jaw up and, put him out of business for a couple months. But if it was me in that match, Balor would have been out for 2 years.
Yeah, that was great. Love the heel tough guy energy there from Dunn.
Yeah.
So they kind of get their point across, hyping up the ladder match for later tonight. Then we get the Kevin Owens show because Kevin Owens has been, a guest commentary, which I think he did great tonight. I did enjoy Kevin.
Yeah, he threw me off in this segment, honestly.
Oh, in this Kevin Owens show segment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get what the comedy he was going for. I felt a little bit contrived to me with the whole countdowns.
The whole thing with him trying to get Ruff to be more assertive came off as I legitimately typed in my notes is this a sign that Owens is staying in NXT and he's going to turn heel here?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for that because I'll be honest with you, dude. When Kevin Owens, they kind of just from the start of the show and establish him as guest commentator and stuff like that, I'm like, it is weird that he'd be here so close to War Games. This is going to facilitate an angle. No angle was facilitated, but yeah.
That's the vibe I was getting, man. I really thought that Owens was about to beat the fuck out of Leon Ruff because we've seen him. He's really good at convincing beatdowns, the way that he used to beat the fuck out of Sami Zayn. I kind of expected him to do that to Ruff here and go after him and add himself to the North American title picture. But no, he was just weirdly hostile for a few lines, and then we kind of moved on to the real heel here, which was Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, because Kevin is kind of talking to Leon. I do agree with you that I wish Kevin would have motivated him a bit differently, coming in a bit more direct. Like, you know, like I love this business. I've given, you know, up my family and everything for this. And I know if you're going to succeed in wrestling, you've got to be confident because everybody's looking to eat you alive or just something like that. I feel like
I just got vibes like I was waiting for him to just like correct Leon on something. Like Leon says, I did it. And Kevin's just like, well, you did it with Damian Priest's help, right? And then Leon's just like, well, yeah, but I also, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't do it myself. And then Kevin just like stays on that. And he's just like, yeah, but you had a lot of help too. And like, he just like escalates it really quickly and it leads to a beatdown. Like that's fully what I was expecting to happen here. But for some reason, Owens was just like weirdly confrontational. He was just like, no, you got to really mean it. And like, it was weird, man. It was fucking weird.
Johnny, I'm going to be honest. Johnny might have played his part the best here. Like him and Leon. And I say that because Johnny's narrative hasn't changed. He's still pissed. He's still incensed. Like, no,
Johnny low-key saved this segment when he came out.
Dude, he did because he stayed on message, right? And that's my point. Now, people might be wondering, like, well, that's odd phrasing, but, like, why I frame it that way, just to establish Gargano, he keeps saying, like, you didn't beat me fair. Like, if it was one-on-one, I would be North American champion for a third time, blah, blah, blah. And I gotta be honest, dude, I didn't like Priest here. That's who I didn't like. Because Priest, to me, narratively, took a step back. Because he comes out, right, and he's still using Leon as kind of a pawn to get under Johnny's skin. Yeah. So, Damian, are we not going to acknowledge that Leon Ruff slapped the taste out of your mouth last week? Are we not going to, like, talk about how you should be pissed at Leon, too, because he stepped up to you and he put his hands on you in a manner of speaking? Yeah. And instead, he's, like, kind of chill with Leon, but he does remind him, like...
Yeah, I was going to say, he wasn't, like, overly hostile with Leon, but he did get confrontational, like, challenging him, basically reminding him, like, oh, yeah, you said last week that you'd take on both of us. And then that was when Owens did the whole, like, oh, where's Teddy Long thing? And we got Regal coming out. And really, one of the highlights of the show was William Regal saying playa.
Yeah. Regal saying words needs to be a WWE YouTube series. They're giving everybody a fucking podcast today.
I was going to say, I don't know if you saw this last week when he set up the War Games thing, but he did the I ain't never seen two best friends and both of them pretty or something like that.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. But, yeah. Like,
right here, I ain't never seen two pretty best friends. Like, the whole idea is every time you see best friends, one of them's always uglier than the other because it's like, the prettier one always wants to hang out with people that are less good looking so they stand out more or whatever. And it's like, yeah, that was like legal. They literally had Regal say that line on, I think, like a .com exclusive or something like that. It was hilarious. And like, he did that same little smirk the way he did tonight after he said player. It was fucking hilarious. I love Regal.
Yeah, he's so good. But yeah, Priest did kind of make a recovery, like just reminding about the triple threat gauntlet that Leon kind of laid down. I just wish that he would have come in with like energy of like, well, maybe Johnny's right, and then you had to go and you slapped me, so maybe kind of puff his chest out a bit, but messaging was kind of all over the place. After that, we get
this, you know what? I'm gonna just say it. I think overall this was probably the worst segment of the night.
I would agree. In fact, in just a little bit, because it shouldn't take that long, we're gonna get to probably what was my favorite segment of the whole show. I was amazed at how well this came off, but we'll get to that in a few moments.
Interesting.
Finn Balor promo, not really much to say there because I already kind of talked about it a few moments ago, just saying, like, I laid the groundwork for war. Anybody wants to come can do it. Another Shotzi ad hyping up War Games. Shotzi saying the best part of war, crushing your enemies, this and that. I love, like you said, on 5v5, again, everybody check it out, is that she really is, like, NXT's favorite hostess. She's, like, had the bumpers advertising this whole takeover, and this is another good one. Do you have anything you want to say about this?
No.
All right. Cameron Grimes versus Jake Atlas. Not really much to say here. Good back and forth. There was a sequence that ended with Cameron Grimes getting a German on Jake Atlas that I thought came off really nice.
Bro, Grimes' Germans are just fucking dirty. I love them.
Dude, I know. And I love, too, how he's kind of... Now, I don't know if this is going to be, like, a constant thing or if he can only do it with opponents like Atlas or of a lower power level overall. But I love how he sets up the cave-in with the whole to the moon thing, and then he hits the cave-in. I thought that was a great touch tonight. But I also do like when it's an out of nowhere thing, got that RKO energy.
Yeah. And I don't think it was in this match, or if it was, I didn't catch it. But I think since we were just talking about German suplexes, I think my favorite move in Grimes' arsenal that isn't the cave-in or the moonsault slam is his fucking moonsault German suplex, where he backflips over the guy and then deadlifts him.
Yeah,
oh dude. God, he needs to do that more. I love that shit.
He is a freak in there.
He is.
So he wins at the cave-in, and then he's kind of celebrating, and then Loomis shows up on the apron, giving him the creepy eyes. Now, okay, I'm a bit ambivalent about this. Let me talk about what was really good about
honestly,
this.
I thought it was kind of dumb. Like the sort of split footage between, Grimes being horrified in the Haunted House of Terror and the drawings that Loomis did. I feel like they're trying way too hard to get Loomis's drawings over.
See, and I honestly didn't mind that. I was actually going to say that's what I thought was good. Here's what I'm still confused by, though, when we talk about messaging. Why is Loomis still going after Grimes? Like, why is this even still a thing? Because
it comes off as very heelish, doesn't it?
It does, because I get that Grimes assaulted him and, blindfolded him and everything, but that was still after Loomis won the Haunted House matchup, and it even said at the end, the end, which you would think is, the end of their interaction. Loomis is going to move on, I don't know, North American Championship or whatever. I need a concrete reason for this to continue. I know NXT doesn't normally make, explicit number one contendership matches, but I wouldn't mind if they were to do this strap match, which I will say I do like that. So this segment was more positive than negative to me because Loomis did beat Roderick Strong in a strap match. So Loomis is trying to bait Cameron Grimes in a match that he's a specialist in. However, you could also look at that as a negative because when you just said it comes off a little heelish, well, why would a heel want to coke, or why would somebody want to coke somebody into a match that they're a specialist at, unless it's to give them an unfair advantage.
Right.
So, I don't know. This is kind of all over the place, which, again, left me pretty ambivalent about it.
As far as Loomis goes, I have a thought in my mind, but I'm really trying to figure out the best way to phrase it. I feel like if Vince would just, get him, if Vince would understand Loomis the way that whoever's writing NXT understands Loomis, I feel like Loomis could be a modern-day Gangrel almost. And I don't mean that as, an insult, go Gangrel sucked or whatever. Gangrel had a segment on every fucking episode of Raw. He came out, he had his badass entrance, he spit his blood, he had his match that lasted, 3 to 5 minutes or whatever, and that was it. And then, there was a period of time where every week the Brood would give someone a bloodbath, and they would set up matches and stuff. That's the kind of thing, though, that and a Godfather type character. He is that character who, because he has these specific character traits and he is such a defined character, he could be the kind of guy that you put on Raw and he gets a segment every single week where you just show him doing some kind of quirk that is unique to his character. Maybe he's drawing something relevant to the show. Maybe he's just fucking staring at someone from the background. Maybe he kind of has the Funhouse Puppets type vibe where it's Where's Waldo, except it's Where's Dexter, where you got to find where he is backstage watching someone peeping and creeping every week or something like that. And eventually it builds to matches, and you could have his specialty be the strap match like we're kind of getting into now, where it used to be Mankind's was the Boiler Room Brawl, Undertaker Hell in a Cell, that kind of stuff. Dexter Loomis's specialty is the strap match. They really could have something on their hands here that could just be such a huge asset. It could be an attraction, and for Loomis, it could be fucking job security for a decade if he wanted it.
Bro, that was a brilliant analysis. I ain't even touching that. That's pristine.
Yes, right. Foster nailed it, like Elias, but with more depth. Exactly, yes.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Rhea Ripley promo segment here. Yes. I already kind of mentioned to you that I did miss the beginning of this, but I did see the assault on Rhea and Io by Candice's team.
Right. Well, the thing is, so here's what happened, basically. Rhea came out, and she basically shut my shit down because she said that she respects the hell out of Io Shirai, but lately there's been a lot of speculation about her hugging Io last week, and she went out of her way to make it clear that wasn't a send-off of any kind. That was purely respect for Io Shirai. And that was really the big thing that she said before Candice and Tony come out. And Candice basically says, oh, it's funny, Io only beat me because she had help. She beat you on her own. You're all talk. You only talk the talk, but I can walk the walk. And as she said, I can walk the walk, we see Raquel Gonzalez, I almost called her Reina again there, Raquel Gonzalez come out with Io draped over her shoulder, just lifeless. And basically she kind of plops her down, and Dakota comes out with her. So it's the 4-woman team here of Candice, Tony, Dakota, and Raquel. And they've already effectively taken out Ember Moon. Now they've taken out Io Shirai, and we can visibly see that because, you know, she's basically lifeless here. And then they try and attack Rhea, but Rhea did a really great job here of trying to get ahead of it. She goes on the offensive. She boots, I think it was Dakota first. She starts trying to do her best to try and isolate them, to take them on one-on-one. But Raquel overpowers her and gets her in the corner, which buys enough time for the other three to recoup and kind of dogpile her. So we end up getting another 4-on-1 beatdown here. So really Ripley gets taken out here as well. So all three prospective members of Team Shotzi at War Games are indisposed.
Yeah, Candace's team really flexing on everybody else. And yeah, just laying them out. I know Javaris said, like, you know, this made me hate their segment. And I think, Javaris, your real complaint kind of goes back to our complaint. They didn't really telegraph that Rhea and Io were going to be a part of Shotzi's team anyway. Because if they did, I wouldn't have had a problem with this, because obviously it's just getting heat and it's making the heel team look menacing. Yeah. The real problem is we didn't know that was happening. So now if it does look like in NXT's mind, even though, again, they already kind of treated it like it's established, that it's like, oh yeah, let's kick their ass, Shotzi. It's going to be like, wow, you know, like you said, Candace, you just drove them into Shotzi's arms. That was stupid. So, yeah, solid enough segment. You just need to telegraph this shit better and really make it more explicit. You know, it's not, it's pro wrestling. It's not rocket science. Then we get to one of my favorite things of the night. Because I'm going to be honest, at first I didn't know what this was. I thought this was a horror movie trailer at first. It took me a second to realize, like, who was in the car.
Yeah, this was very Lucha Underground. Like, super, like this, we've said that before. We've said, like, oh, this kind of reminded me of Lucha Underground. This is the most Lucha Underground thing NXT has ever done.
Dude, yes. And I think that's why I loved it so much, dude. So we got Boa and Xia being driven somewhere. Xia and Boa, I already mentioned how last week Boa looks like shit. Yeah. Xia looked fucking petrified. Oh my god. She looked like she was about to die, like she was being taken to her death. They come to this like warehouse building thing. There's the old man, I don't know, kind of the overseer, I guess, of all this. They take them inside. They sink to their knees on the ground. We see the hand of somebody with a nail that looked very feminine. Dude, you might be right about it being Karen Q, dude. Because that's immediately what I thought about. I saw that nail and I'm like, oh my fucking god, are they doing this? And they are pleading. Please, we promise we'll win. We won't lose again. Xia is crying. And can I just give Xia credit? Because I feel like I'm giving her a hard time.
Acting plus.
Oh my god, dude. Her acting on this, because I know you and I both, we've really gone on her for in-ring, and justifiably so. Like, it isn't the best. Yeah. But man, she showed up when she really needed to, dude. I was scared for her. The fear, the terror in her eyes. Holy fucking shit.
I posted a screenshot of the presumably the woman's hand, the woman's eye that they blinked.
Holy fuck, I missed that. Great screenshot by you. Oh my god, dude, if this is Karen Q, I am so fucking ready for this.
Well, the reason I posted the screenshot is because it doesn't actually look that much like Karen to me. It looks like a completely different, like, low-key, it looks more like Io than Karen to me.
Oh god, can you imagine fucking Io having a backup plan? But nah, this is wild. And the guy's like, enough. And then he marks their hands again, and they're weeping. So like, what?
Paul mentioned Mako.
What?
It looks more like Mako than Karen, dude. That's why I'm excited, because it really. And Mako makes so much more sense as like the fucking leader of a faction than Karen. Like, don't get me
wrong. Bro, if it's fucking Mako, I'd be weeping too.
That makes Christ. So much more. Like, why would you be that scared of Karen Q, Xia? You're like best friends with her. But Mako, that's a fucking mafia boss I can buy into. Yes.
Yeah, Mako, if she was like, God knows Javaris is gonna hire her soon enough. Yeah. So John, you lost your match again. You know, no. God, no, please, no. She terrifies me. We've seen Mako, and like a Mako that like has hung out a little too much with Minoru Suzuki. Oh. Jesus fucking Christ!
Wow.
No. Yeah. No, Javaris, you look at that screenshot, bro. It's gotta be Mako.
Oh my god.
My god. Dude, can I just say, see, I wish NXT was more consistent because this was a storyline that began with Xia Li losing. Boa gave her a letter, and I got no problem with Boa. You know, I think we only saw him in like maybe 1 or 2 matches, and you know we did see him in the WPC video, like him and Keith Lee get along great. Yeah. But like, let's be real here, 2 really undercard people. But you get fucking Mako in on this.
Yeah.
And immediately, dude, not only one of the best things in NXT, it's one of the best things in the fucking company. Because, like, I'm sorry, I need to say this again in reference to our 5v5. I already mentioned how, in talking about number 4 on my 5v5, I'm going to try and be cryptic because I want you all to watch it if you haven't already, that, like, they're the exception to Stardom having a monopoly on women's wrestling just being fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And you get somebody like Mako, that's another one. Because I don't know as much wrestling history as you guys may assume that I know, but I know enough to know that Mako's been around a minute, and she's earned everybody's respect. And she's, like, this is a girl, and I'm pretty sure they weren't fake tears, made Maki Ito cry when Maki knew that Mako respected her. Yeah. Like, that's the value of Mako Satomura, and if she's leading this, dude, give me Mako versus Io yesterday, please, for the love of fuck, dude.
Fuck.
Dude. I'm so deliriously fucking happy how invested I am in this storyline, because I was terrified I wouldn't give a fuck, dude. But this was so good. This is the best installment they've done yet on this thing. Is there anything else you want to add?
I can't believe we didn't think of Mako. I think we all just assumed that she would be in NXT UK, but, like, I mean, we got Toni Storm, we got the Grizzled Young Vets, we got Pete Dunne. There's no reason why they can't bring Mako over.
Dude, I mean, Javaris suggested, what if it's Sari? I don't know. Would that fit?
I think Sari is still booked for shows in Japan.
Yeah, so I don't know. And I'm going to be honest with everybody. This just shows you how a little bit I am. I didn't even know Mako was with the fucking company. I thought Mako was just kind of doing her own thing. So, like...
Yeah, dude, Mako is signed... she's signed to a developmental contract. I think, from what I understood, it was planned to keep her in NXT UK, but maybe that was a fucking misleading headline, thanks Meltzer, you know?
Well, yeah, for one, not the first time, but this is yet another instance where I'm so fucking happy that Meltzer is wrong, as he usually is. It's a pretty safe bet, because, I'm sorry, no disrespect to NXT UK, you know, I'm kind of getting tired of taking the piss out of them, and the last thing I did watch was Dragunov versus Walter, which I genuinely enjoyed, but come on.
I mean, dude, here's the thing, if it is Saudi, I might even be more excited for that than Mako. Like, I'm stoked as fuck if it's Mako, no doubt about it, because, like, literal legend, like, she'd be amazing at this. But if it's Saudi, this is how they're going to debut Saudi. Holy shit, yeah.
That is true. That, like, dude, Saudi or Mako would have me hyped. And to be fair, even discussing these options, even if it is Karen Q, it's all in the presentation, man. And if this is how you're presenting Karen Q even, I'm hyped for her. So really, I feel like right now, and I want to be very careful with my language, right now, you're in a can't-lose spot because you have me hooked. You have me on the line regardless, whatever you're reeling me into. You just got to keep it up. That's the nature of every story, right? This was a great installment for them. I loved it. Xia, to me, really stepped up, and I want to go out of my way and praise her because I know most of the time I don't really have much to praise her for. The terror on her face, who else but fucking Mako after you said it? I'm like, yeah, that terror is totally natural. Holy fuck. So I'm really excited for next week, but that's not the only exciting development we got, because we got Everrise, the fastest rising tag team in all of professional wrestling today, going against, I'm just fucking with you, Zach Gibson and James Drake are back, baby!
Oh, God, I was so happy to see this.
I want you to take
the lead on this. Literally within the last, 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like I mentioned how much I missed these guys.
Yeah, they're grizzled, they're young, they're veterans, and they're back, daddy. It's a good fucking time to be James Drake and Zach Gibson. Ashton was so excited, guys. He messaged me. He was like, dude, I'm so freaking excited what's happened with Everrise. I'm like, I'm about to see it. He's like, I know. And then I saw it. And I'm like, fuck yes. Fuck yes. I had to correct myself the second message. And he's like, yes. So, brother, just give your full thoughts, because I know they cut a promo here. I mean, finally some life in the tag division, right?
Yeah, dude. Finally. Fucking finally. Yeah. Like, can we just put the tag titles on these guys today?
Yeah.
I would say yesterday, but I loved your whole phrase about the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is today. Can we do it today, please?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, God, I hate to do Lorcan like that, but maybe trade up next time.
Yeah, like Lorcan, you're fine, but your tag team partner is garbage.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like, here's the thing. I felt like you and I both were very privileged to watch the Revival come up in NXT and like do their craft in NXT. If there was ever a team that could even approximate the void left by the Revival, I honestly believe it is Grizzled Young Vets, truthfully. Because the way this team works and their double team offense and everything, it's so inspired. And it really does show you the best of tag team wrestling. I am so freaking psyched for these dudes. It might be a minute, though, until they get in contention, because the tag champions are with McAfee's faction, who are going to be in the freaking War Games. They're probably going to main event TakeOver, more than likely. So they're a pretty big deal right now. But the sooner we get these guys in the tag title picture, the better. That's really how I feel. So great to have them back. Do you have anything else you want to say about this?
I'm just very, very happy that we've got GYV back, and I really hope they win the tag titles this time around.
Yeah, dude, hard agree. Enough said. We get a Gargano follow-up. Candice more or less says, that like the reason why she did what she did is simple. Anybody that's stupid enough to join Shotzi's team is going to get crushed. And by the way, bonus points for Indy Hartwell selling the forearm of Ember. She was in a neck brace in this.
Wasn't that her selling the Eclipse?
That could be too. That's fair. Selling the Eclipse with the neck brace. Yeah. So that was great. Good call there. So Candice puffing her chest out like, we're just going to crush anybody on Shotzi's team. Then Johnny comes in. He's like, I got this. And Candice is going to help Indy back into the car. And Johnny's like, did you see that? The General. She dominated. She's going to dominate TakeOver. I'm going to win a TakeOver. I'm going to get my North American Championship back. And he's like all hyped. And he's like, gotta go. And then he's like in the car and he's like, NXT TakeOver War Games, everything's coming up Gargano.
You know what? The Garganos might be annoying as shit, but I love their spunk.
Dude, Johnny's slowly growing on me again, and honestly, it feels really good to say that, truthfully.
Well, Candice here, too, was hilarious. I love her Karen energy.
She's both a Karen and a mother hen at the same time, because it's like, okay, Indy, let's get you in the car, okay? And it's like, wow, Candice, both a Karen and a mom at the same time.
I think what we're all agreeing on, though, is that Candice LeRae acts 50 and looks about 25.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing that commentary emphasized was there was another ghost face in the car. We already kind of feel like we know who that is.
Well, you know what, though? I'm wondering, because, you got to remember, too, at TakeOver, or not at TakeOver, at Halloween Havoc, the Ghostface showed up twice, and the first time, the person in the Ghostface mask had a very different build than what we expect from Indy Hartwell. I almost wonder if there's still a chance that it might be Austin Theory. But then there's also, I wonder if they were trying to play it off like the Garganos and Indy were somehow oblivious to this fourth person in the vehicle, which, God, that's almost insulting to the intelligence, because Indy literally got into the car next to this person. So, how could she not know?
Yeah, I feel like Kevin even said something similar. Well, no, what he said was...
Kevin chuckled under his breath. I know I heard that.
Yeah, because Vic Joseph was like, wait, there's another Ghostface? I thought it was Indy. And then Kevin's like, well, obviously it's not. And she sat next to him. I love Kevin, man.
And yeah, I thought I saw her... Or, God, fucking Link... I'm pretty sure I also heard Owens call this Ghostface a him as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard, so...
God. Kevin's chuckle under his breath, though, made me laugh so much harder than I would have otherwise.
Nice.
We just see this ghost face, and they just look at the camera with this, knowing stare, and you just hear Kevin,
Yeah. So, yeah, we get that Gargano follow-up, and then we finally get our main event, O'Reilly versus Don ladder match. I'm going to be truthful. Good match. Great bumps. I mean, obviously ladder matches are going to be very physical. The only spot I really didn't like in this was towards the end. Dunn gets a ladder shot on O'Reilly and a bitter end that sends him over the barricade.
Yeah.
And yet O'Reilly still recovered enough to stop Dunn's climbing attempt. And, like, that did take me out of the match a little bit because I'm like, you really beat the shit out of him, and he was still able to, like, not necessarily beat the count, but you get what I mean. Like, get there in time to stop you. What did you think about this match, man?
I wasn't a big fan of, like, God, this sounds so terrible of me because it just makes it seem like I don't like good wrestling, but I think you know how to take this, and I think you understand it. I don't like that they did all of this on an episode of TV. This felt like it should have been a takeover match or something. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand that this was a ladder match and that, like, ladder matches are like a rare opportunity to really kind of do some crazy stuff, but dude, the fucking suplex where Dunn suplexed O'Reilly from in the ring to the outside through a ladder that was set up between the barricade and the ring, like, why the fuck are you taking that bump on anything other than a pay-per-view?
Yeah, I think that's a broader criticism because, I mean, let's stay consistent here. Like, we know that the War Games Advantage ladder match, that was on NXT for the women last year, too. Yeah. So I think it's more just like, why are you doing specialty matches? And I think it's almost even worse here, dude, because Halloween Havoc wasn't that long ago, and we already got a ladder match between Candice and Io. So, like, you've done 2 ladder matches in a matter of weeks, right? Yeah. And it's like, why are you burning this would have almost been like a great heat of the night, because I think you bring up a very salient point. Why are you, like, overutilizing these stip matches on NXT TV? Because, one, you're burning through bump cards more quickly that way. And two,
yeah, that's more the problem that I have with it is, like, the fact that you've got these guys out here putting their bodies on the line for what? Like, like, how much more money are you really going to make with these guys taking these stupid ass bumps, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And you already heard my criticism a bit. The psychology to me was a bit off at times, with, like, the selling and everything.
Right.
Do we think it was McAfee that ran interference, or did they only try?
Had to be.
Yeah. I only asked.
Although I was going to say, like, it did cross my mind, like, what if we're supposed to believe it's McAfee, but McAfee's not even going to participate in the War Games match because he found a 4th.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because here was my thing about questioning if it was McAfee, because at first that was my knee-jerk reaction, but I changed my mind when we went off the air and that person never unmasked. Because I thought they were going to unmask and it was going to be McAfee, and it was going to, like, being the Giga Chad that he is, just reveling like, got you again. But that never happened.
I will say that the person in the mask did look a little bit smaller than McAfee, so I don't know.
Dude, actually, you know what? I want to get a visual on him again. Oh, God, I don't even know. Like, I kind of don't want to be right about this because, again, I've already talked about at length how I feel like a lot of wrestling's been spoiled for me given everything that's happened this year, like, negatively.
Yeah.
Could it be Tyler Bate by any chance?
Ooh.
Or was that guy too big? Because, like,
I want to say the person that was in the mask wasn't anywhere close to as thick as our boy Bate, but it's possible.
Yeah, because, I mean, young enough, right? You get a young gun like that, and, I mean, Bate and Dunn do have a tag team history with Trent Seven.
Yeah, fuck Trent Seven. I want those 2 guys in a team.
Yeah, British strong style. You get 2/3 of it.
Yeah, the superior 2/3. Hello.
Yeah, so
dude, the only thing at that point that Pat McAfee could do that would make me happier than I would already be with the faction is to ditch Danny Burch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna pull something up.
He could even go out of his way to be like, oh yeah, we got rid of the dead weight. Referring to Trent Seven. I would be like, oh my God, McAfee, you speak for me.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
McAfee senpai.
I'm actually watching this. The legs don't look nearly as defined as Tyler's.
Yeah, you're right. Thick as hell, right?
Exactly. Yeah, those legs don't have their thickness. I mean, unless, Tyler chose to be the opposite of Quarren Gaines. But it doesn't look like McAfee either to me. I don't know. I almost had a thought
of, like, what if it's just like fucking Drake Maverick and he's, like, abandoning Killian Dane now after the whole promise of friendship died because Killian Dane basically died?
Yeah, maybe.
But that would also, that would be fucking dumb.
It would be dumb, but I'm not going to disqualify your idea, brother, because you look at the height of this dude.
Yeah.
That might fit, actually. Yeah, I don't know. But I think ultimately to circle around so we're not circling the drain here.
The only other name that I thought of that might be why they're hiding it is if Roderick is going to turn.
But see, dude, I thought it might have been Roderick, but where he was up in the stands with fucking for the brand, you know, when they were like observing the match, he was with them. So I'm like, because that was my first thought too, dude. Is oh my god, what if it's Roderick? Like he was awfully quiet in the opening promo. So yeah, dude. I ultimately though, I think for now, I do just want to say that I really like your idea of whoever this was being a substitution for McAfee, so that you could keep the match quality up. Although I'll be honest, and I think you can sympathize with this, given how much praise you gave him today in 5v5. I'd be a bit disappointed if McAfee's going to sit this one out, because Cole wants to get his hands on him for one, so it would be cheap, right? And two, McAfee wasn't bad in his first match. I think if you've got like 7 other people kind of dictating the match, he could probably still thrive again. So I'm kind of hoping McAfee doesn't back out.
Because that's the thing. Like if you're really inexperienced, you can have a War Games match set up where you literally just have to make sure that you hit 1 or 2 spots, and everything else is just you like working, like using like worked punches and selling and shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Sleepers, you know, rest holds, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like again, Cole's whole thing was he wants McAfee in that cage, so he better not be backing out. But I don't know what.
God, how hilarious would that be though? Because then we would have to get another one-on-one match between them, and then of course, you know, Cole would have to work to get it.
Dude, you know what? I know this isn't gonna happen, but because it's our podcast and we spitball a lot, you know what I would love? Just for the fucking lulz.
Say it.
McAfee gets this guy to replace him, but McAfee's still a takeover. I'd love for McAfee to have the balls to challenge Balor for the title, since he wanted Balor to give the title up.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking at all.
What were you I knew it wasn't, but what were you
I'll
thinking?
tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking McAfee dodges Adam Cole until the Royal Rumble, and then McAfee's in the Rumble and Adam Cole's music hits while he's in there.
Dude, that'd be great too.
I would fucking love that shit. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I really am kind of thinking about Finn. What the fuck does he do at TakeOver? We'll figure it out. But yeah, that was NXT, so let's move on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. I'm just going to take the very straightforward low shot, Kyle O'Reilly. You know, Undisputed Era had the advantage, like, oh, we're undefeated in this match. Well, not anymore, you're not. Because whoever fucked with your shit, you know, that wasn't really taken into account. So Kyle's just going to be my very immediate low shot. Who's your low shot?
My low shot. Man. I think I just have to make it Shotzi Blackheart because her team got obliterated tonight.
You know what? That's perfect because I had intended to make my high spot Candice LeRae.
Yeah.
She had a great night tonight. She beat Ember Moon in a match and got Toni Storm recruited, and she laid out Rhea and Io at the same time. So she laid out Rhea, Io, and Ember. Like, Candice dominated tonight. Candice is easily my high spot.
Yeah. So for my high spot, God, I mean, Candice is a really good one. I'm low-key thinking about Gargano, but I feel like he didn't really make too much ground up tonight that we didn't already know about. So as bitter as I am about this, I'm going to make my high spot Kushida, because he did make a fucking submission expert tap the fuck out. Like, that's huge, even if I'm miserable about the fact that it happened.
That's more than fair, friend. Great choice. All right, guys, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-owner and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the videos you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Be sure to comment down below when this video is done processing. What do you think about Team McAfee having the War Games advantage? Biggest question of the night, who was the man in the mask that screwed Kyle O'Reilly out of Undisputed Era having a War Games advantage? Talk to us. We'd be eager to hear from you. Be sure to check out everything we're involved in the description box. Most immediately, guys, I want to direct you to the TWitWoW Patreon. Why? Because a lot of shit's happening on the Patreon. We offer additional Q&A questions for $1 a month, with Q&A being tomorrow at 7 p.m., I might add. Patreon donors get up to 5 Q&A questions. Non-Patreon donors only get 3. That's 2 additional questions. I know you all know how to do math. We have Mark shown it in our chat often enough, and we already know that 2 is greater than 1 from all those Ryback lessons we used to get. Also, we have a TWitWoW Discord that only costs $3 a month. Great community, wonderful people. You can talk about anything from sports to wrestling, live reactions. You can even talk about Patreon requests that you would like to make to us and the Discord, which we give it a nice thorough breakdown of that and the Patreon link as well. Be sure to follow us both on Twitter. My pinned tweet is to receive Q&A questions. I come back to that because, again, Q&A is tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day. So when you're done stuffing your face with stuffing, you can come back, decompress, and digest with some quality TWitWoW Q&A, which will be your R&R. So be sure to do that with us. We greatly appreciate it. Trying to think what else to plug because I'm a sexy son of a bitch. Oh, yeah, that's right. So beyond Q&A at Thursday, again, at 7. We also will be doing Stardom, the November 23rd show. It's looking very likely because they've got it, I feel like 80% up. And that'll be at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then after that, we will be doing a Rocket League stream for the post-Survivor Series SmackDown. So are we going to find out a contender for Reigns? Are we going to have any more development with Sasha Banks and Carmella? Probably, definitely on that. What's going to happen with, say, I don't know, the tag team titles? Street Profits, now that they beat New Day. Where do you go from here? So they're probably going to unveil all that. We're just going to be reacting to all that with a nice, chill Rocket League stream. We hope to have you there with us. And then we're off until Wednesday, where we'll be covering maybe another Stardom show, which, again, that would be at 5. And then, of course, an NXT review at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So, guys, I just want to say this because it's appropriate then and it would be too late tomorrow. Have an amazing Thanksgiving, all of you. I know it's a rough time right now, but I'm so thankful we have such a committed and passionate audience that listens to us multiple times throughout the week. I know Foster said earlier that we make his day better, and that always means the world to me because Foster, people like you and people like everybody that listens to us, you're beautiful, and you definitely deserve a respite from the turbulence of the world, so to speak. So I know it's going to be hard. I know a lot of people are social distancing, having to be away from their families. Just be good to yourselves tomorrow. Enjoy an extra helping of that turkey. I know for myself, I'm going to enjoy an extra helping of those candied sweet potatoes. Oh, my God. And just make it the best holiday you can. We get through this together or not at all. So, guys, with that said, love yourselves, love each other. Have a great holiday tomorrow. We hope to see you tomorrow at 7 for some quality Q&A questions that I'm sure will go from levity to just life or death itself. So let's see how we navigate it all. Until then, everyone,